Adagio Console is a system application used to administer user and company settings and to allow automating repetitive tasks. The first time you use Adagio Console, you need to sign in as the system administrator and set up the path to the Adagio system directory. Once you're in Adagio Console, there are a few areas that you need to set up before use. One is to set up your company list from the Maintenance menu and Maintain Companies. Click the Refresh button to have Adagio Console determine your list of active companies. Also, there are some default options that are set from the File menu and Set Global Options. From here, you determine how long to keep logs for automation and for other user maintenance tasks. When you choose to email with Adagio Console and automation, there's some setup required for an email address and also your direct email server. And the default batch files folder if you use generate batch files in order to automate tasks across multiple applications. Finally, grant access to particular users of Adagio Console with security group setup. Determine which menu options are available to be used by particular users by assigning the appropriate security group, just like in the rest of Adagio. For Adagio programs and versions that are compatible with Adagio Console, you have the opportunity of creating automated task commands from the Edit menu and Automation Files. This list of automation files is common across all companies for the particular application that they are visible from, in this case Adagio Receivables. To create a new automation file, click the New button. Each automation file requires a unique file name and a description. Automation files require one or more commands that are performed when the automation file is run. Click the New button to add a command. Each command requires a process that is performed and up to 2 options that may be required depending on the command selected. In the case of the data integrity check, the noun option and the modifier option are not required. If you wish to back up your company data, the noun option allows you to back up the entire company or just the specific application you're running the automation from. There's no modifier required in this case. To import a batch, the noun determines what type of record you wish to import, and the template will determine what gets imported. If you want to print a report set, the noun determines that it's a report set that gets printed, and then you can choose the specific report set from the list. To post a transaction batch, the noun will determine what type of batch gets posted, and the modifier allows you to select, if you wish, a specific type of source from where the batch came from. All of these tasks are common across all Adagio programs that support automation. In addition, there are some tasks that are specific to the application. In the case of Adagio Receivables, you can choose to send statements automated, either by printer or by fax or by email. You can even choose to attach a PDF to your statements. Choose the favorite setting in order to determine how the statements are printed, faxed, or emailed. In addition, you can also choose to create recurring charges, either for a specific billing cycle date or as the date that you sign in, or create an interest batch, either for all customers or billing cycles, or choose a specific one. If you require user interaction to perform something before the next task is run, you can choose to set a pause in order to have the user click the OK button to continue the rest of the automation. Include a message here if you wish to have the user know what they're supposed to do. Or if you just simply like to add a comment to the log after the automation is run, you can have that comment get inserted into the log at this point. If reports or transactions require a particular date, you can set a session date and choose a noun of the particular date that is set. Also, you typically want to have a quit command in order to have the program close after the automation is run. On the screen, you can choose to move around the automation commands so that they are performed in the correct sequence. Set session date should be the first command, and quit should be the last. If you would like to see the list of the program commands as they are run, you can choose to have the log of the automated tasks print or be viewed after it is completed. Or if you use Adagio ePrint, you can have that log get sent to a PDF file or even email the PDF. Typically, you'll choose append for the PDFs so that if you have multiple automation commands, they will all be appended together. These should appear before the quit. Once you've set up all of the procedures, you can click OK to save. There are a number of different ways to run automation files. One is to highlight the desired file from the list and click the Run button. You can also set up a shortcut in order to run in a particular Adagio program and assign the automation file to the target path. You can do the same with a scheduled Windows task in order to run an Adagio program and an automation file at a predetermined time. Whichever way you choose, all of the tasks that were defined in the automation file will be run in sequence, without any user interaction apart from a pause. All of the options will be read from the commands. If any errors occur during the automation, such as a record being in use, or a batch containing an error, or a file existing, it will be shown in the log, and the remainder of the automation commands will halt. When the automation is complete, a log will be written too that can be viewed or printed. If you wish to run multiple automation commands in succession, either from the same program or from different Adagio programs, you can set this up in Adagio Console from the Maintenance menu and generate batch files, or from the toolbar button as well. From here, all of the different automation commands from the various Adagio programs are listed here. To set this up, first select the folder to which you want to save the batch file. It is defaulted from the console global options, but you can choose to select a subdirectory of the SoftTrack automation directory. Give the batch file a name, and select the single specific company for which the generated automation batch file will be run for. Assign the user that will run all of the functions in case security would prevent one or more functions from being run. Then select the appropriate automation files. If you want to remove an automation file from the selection list, you can double-click or use the arrow to remove it. Select the appropriate one and reorder the automation files in process. If you use Adagio ePrint, you can choose to modify and create a PDF that logs all of the automation logs in a single file, and either email it or simply open it in your PDF viewer. If any batches along the way run into an error, you can choose to run a different batch file on error. And you can choose to have all of the Adagio programs run minimized while the automation is in process for all of the different automation commands. When you're ready to create the batch file, click the Generate button. There are a couple of confirmation messages just to warn you about particular setups. Every automation command should have a quit, and it will give you the opportunity to add one from here if in fact one was not defined when the automation command was created in the application. If you choose to use the PDF logs, then you would choose to have them append so that they would all be logged together. And if it happens to find that overwrite was defined, it will just warn you that you probably should have append to PDF for all of the logs except for the last one. We'll just continue from here just to generate the file, and it will create the batch file in the selected directory. From here, then you can run the batch file in the normal way in order to perform the automation. If you wish to perform maintenance on a particular Adagio company or all companies, and you wish to prevent access to those companies during that maintenance or other tasks, you can set this up in Adagio Console from the X Console portion that you can load from either the toolbar or the maintenance menu. On the screen that appears, the scheduled shutdown times are listed on the top half. If any have been expired, you can choose to remove them when signing on here so that the list can be uncluttered. To create a new scheduled unavailability time, click the Add button. You can choose to set inaccessibility either for a specific company data directory or for all company datas. And you can set this either immediately, or you can choose to set a particular day and time in the future. Determine how long the system or company data will be inaccessible for, either in minutes or hours. And give the user a warning before the actual shutdown occurs. Scheduled times can be one time only, or you can have this set to repeat either daily or weekly. Choose OK to save the changes. You can create new, or you can edit existing. Notice that when changes have been made, icons will have a red color, and this indicates that those scheduled times have not yet been made live. In order to do so, you need to click the Apply button in order to save those changes. When a shutdown is in effect, either in the warning stage or during the actual shutdown, no one will be able to access the company or all of the company system datas except for the workstation that created the shutdown schedule. That station is exempt and can perform the tasks during the shutdown. The bottom half of the X Console screen is a grid that displays all of the users and applications that are currently open. This grid automatically refreshes whenever a user opens or closes a program. This screen is sortable by any of the columns just by clicking on the title. If you need to shut down one or more of these applications, perhaps because they were left open and the user went home for the evening, you can choose to select or multi-select users from the list and shut them down. To give them a warning, set the number of minutes from the defaults by left-clicking on the logo on the top left corner and setting the number of minutes here. Then, when you select a user, you can right-click and shut down. This will send a message via the network to the user and that application. And a message will appear on screen indicating that there is, in this case, 5 minutes before the shutdown. It will count down every 30 seconds until the application closes. Note that when the application does close, it will close regardless of what's occurring, whether they're posting a batch or editing a customer. So you really should only use this when you are fairly certain that the user isn't in the office and doing something, because the potential of data corruption could exist. If you realize that you don't have to send the message and the shutdown, you can right-click and cancel the shutdown, and this will give a message to the user that the shutdown is canceled. There's a star next to the user ID indicating the message has been sent, and it will go away once the message appears on the user's screen. In addition to sending a shutdown, you can simply select one or more users and right-click and send a message. This is outgoing message only, so that the system administrator can send messages to those user and applications, whatever it is they want to say. In addition, they can choose to include a shutdown along with that customized message. If you are a site that maintains 2 or more company datasets, there is now available a new extended active users list that will show not only which users are in which applications, but also which company data and workstation in use. This can be opened either from the toolbar or from the Inquiries menu. This screen shows the computer name ID and the company name and the company data path. Also, it will show you which applications are using the free program-specific LAN pack or any of the LAN pack licenses in use. You can also create new users from Adagio Console, not only from the File menu in the usual way, but you can also clone a user, either from the toolbar or from the Maintenance menu. From here, you can select a particular company and a particular user ID and either update existing user preferences for an existing user in the system or create a brand new user based on the settings that are already set up for an existing user. Give them the password as well. And you can set up this new user for specific Adagio programs or all of them. And you can choose which features to copy, whether they're user preferences or private reports or grid settings or even email settings. You don't have to do email if you don't. In the same way that import works, you can choose to add a new record or overwrite existing user preference records or do both. You'll see that the clone user function writes to a log, and this will be the name of the task that gets written to the log. At the end of the process, the console task log will show all the different things that were copied, and you can print if you wish. In the same way, users can be deleted from the system, including user preferences and other associated settings from various companies. To access this, from the Maintenance menu, choose Remove User. For a specific user, you can choose one or more companies to remove settings for, one or more applications to remove settings for, and then determine the settings. Whether you choose some companies or all, those particular selections will be deleted when you click OK. The information is written to the console task log. If you've chosen all companies, all applications, and everything to remove, then you'll see that the user is automatically deleted from the system. If you maintain multiple companies and would like to copy user settings from one company to another, then this can be done in Adagio Console using the Copy Definitions function, either from the toolbar or from the maintenance menu. From this screen, select the source company that contains the settings you would like to copy. Then, select the companies that you wish to copy to. You can select one or more. You can pick and choose which programs get copied, or all. You can pick and choose which users get copied, or all. And finally, choose which settings you'd like to copy. Again, you can pick or choose or select all. You can specify just adding new records that currently don't exist, or only overwriting existing values that already exist but not add any new ones, or do both. When you click OK, the copying will occur. In the very specific case of email settings, there are 3 different ways that you can copy email settings. One is by application, so that the respective email settings for each program, such as payables, receivables, or ledger, will go to the respective application settings in the target companies, in the case where email settings may be different. A second way is a specific application. So let's say that you already have all the email settings for receivables in the source company, then those same settings will be applied to all of the target company programs and companies for users. And finally, if you just have a single company and would like to copy the email settings from one program to the remaining Adagio programs, what you can instead do is select the target company the same as the source, unselect the program here to copy to, and use the specific application to copy from. Again, that's only appropriate for email settings only.